Hey you all, thanks for tuning in. You're in session with Justincredible, hosted by Atlantic Center for the Arts. This is our last summer 2020 session. And I know the first session, we talked about how to find your inner creative writer. Second session, we went through how to break through writer's block. And this third and final session of summer 2020, we're gonna be talking about how to finish a creative project. So I'm gonna give you 6 points on things that I've learned along the way and things that I was doing subconsciously, but I couldn't articulate it until I sat down and wrote this and gathered my thoughts, put it together for you all. So here are 6 things that I know that I've learned on how to finish a creative project. And with that being said, let's go. Number 1 and number 2, they're often used interchangeably. I see them totally different. I'll break them down. Number 1 is spontaneity. Number 2 is inspiration or motivation. Most people couple those together. They assume they're the same thing. I'm going to break it down and show you how they're not. Number 1, spontaneity. Something that is spontaneous. It is random. You did not plan for it. You didn't schedule it. It comes to you. It hits you over the head. It's for a limited amount of time, and in order to take advantage of that in the creative process to finish a creative project is you need to soak it in. So you can be scrolling on social media, you can just be looking at a meme, you can just catch a quote online, you can just randomly be researching something and you see a tweet or what have you. It just knocks you and you're just in awe. You could be at a certain place, you can come across at an event, you can travel somewhere and it just hits you. It's something that stimulates your brain out of nowhere. Again, random, you did not plan it, you did not schedule it, it comes to you. A way to take advantage of it is you can, if it happens while you're at work or you're in a home office or so, you can write stickies. I do that a lot. Coworkers, my wife gets on me all the time. I have stickies everywhere. You can write down stickies. You can have a notepad. You can have a composition book or so by your bed. So when you wake up in the morning, you have morning reflections, or before you go to bed at night, if you have dreams or if anything hits you randomly, you can take advantage of it and you can write it down. The essence is to soak it in right when it's there. Life experiences, it's a limited amount of time. It's almost like a flash of lightning. It's almost like a tornado. You can't predict it. So maybe you're driving or so. You can pull out your phone, do a voice memo, do a voice recording, a video recording of whatever's going on so you can come back to it or so. But again, it is something that is random. It is spontaneous stimuli to your brain, to your emotions, to your imagination in general. So take advantage of it right then and there. Soak it up, write down as much as you can, flush it all out, get it from your brain, get it from your heart, get it from your emotions, get it down on paper. Whatever form of communication that you can do it then. Number 2 is inspiration. So that's more motivation. So inspiration can begin from spontaneity. It can begin from something random, but I like to think of inspiration as something where you can focus your ears. It's something that you can focus your eyes and your mind back on something that stirs up your creativity, that sparks something in you, that motivates you, and that's fine. So if it's a person, place, or thing, if it's a mentor, if it's a certain area that you'd like to drive by, for me, Wynwood Walls in Miami just breeds some type of inspiration, some motivation. It just gives me a certain vibe that I just love. When I watched 8 Mile for the first time, it was a random, it hit me like lightning. It was inspiring. And when I bought the DVD at the time, I kept on watching it and I just started writing and writing and writing. I like to go on the bus in Hollywood, Florida, Pembroke Pines, Hollywood, Florida. What I did after 8 Mile, it inspired me so much that I stole a whole bunch of change from my parents' drawer in their room, and I put in some money, I put in $1, and I just rode the bus, the 7, all the way up Pines Boulevard, Hollywood Boulevard. I just rode it back and forth, back and forth. I had my notebook, I had my headphones, I sat in the back, and I just rode for hours and hours and hours throughout the entire summer. And every once in a while, I come back and I do that. So you may catch me on the 7 bus, just putting it out there just for your information. I watched the play Hamilton. Wow. Lin-Manuel Miranda. Wow. So many different elements. So much stimuli in one form of art. There was hip hop, there was singing, there was rapping, there was dancing, there was choreography, there was just the whole lights and costumes and just the acting. Everything was so well put together. It amazed me and it inspired me. The next day, I locked myself in my home office and I was just like, no, heck no, I gotta do this thing. So now, when I have this, I can always go back to stream it. If I purchase it, the Blu-ray disc, now I can play it back anytime I want to. I can go back, I can travel to Wynwood Walls anytime I want to. I can hop on the 7 bus and ride it up Pines Boulevard anytime I feel like it. I can go back to places that inspire me. I can watch movies, I can listen back to albums or play video games that sparked that creativity. That's inspiration where you can constantly go back to it. It can be spontaneous at first, but once you know that that's something that draws creativity out of you, you can always go back to it. It's almost like a river. So go back, focus on those people, those places, those things, whether it's childhood memories, old photographs, old comic books, cartoons, old video games, past life experiences. You can go back, think of those, replay video, and get that inspiration, take advantage of it. Again, soak it up, flush it out, get it from the mind, from the heart, from the soul, get it to the paper, get it to the keyboard, whatever you got to do to get it out. Number 3 is discipline. And there is no great artist that has completed some creative project without discipline. Now, discipline is not the funnest thing in the world, but it is something that you can control. It's something that it's a consistent conviction. It's a commitment. It's something that you can schedule. It's something that's regimented, that's ongoing. You need discipline in order to, at least some form of discipline, in order to complete a project. You can have all the inspiration in the world. You can be as spontaneous. You can be the best freestyler of all times. You need some form of discipline to actually do it, to produce and release content. So you have to do something. That's where the discipline falls in. Now with discipline, it does not have to be large amounts of material or large duration of time that you're scheduling and that you're doing this muscle memory thing here in order to get it done as far as writing or creating. It's just consistency, even a drop. There's a book by Julia Cameron entitled The Artist's Way, and it is about daily creating, whether it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour, or whatever time that you have. Any type of consistency will bring muscle memory to you. Actually not necessarily muscle memory, but it's mental muscle, creative muscle memory. Rick Rubin on Instagram, he has quotes, posts that he puts out daily, and it leads to something that he's curating. I just subscribed, so I don't know. It's tetragrammaton. Every day, Rick Rubin posts on Instagram different ways to take advantage and discipline yourself to actually write and to create art, to finish projects. He is just extra little tidbits of help. And as far as discipline, in our last video, how to break through writer's block, the procrastination roadblocks and the perfectionist roadblocks, those things you can break through with discipline. As far as scheduling out time, putting your out of office on, the 30-second theory, you explaining to the people who have access to you, your distraction level and what your goals are. Hey, I'm trying to finish this project. What do you need? Hey, I'm a little busy. Carving out blocks of time to get work done and making sure that people do not have access to you. Those things, and you can go back and watch the video on how to break through writer's block, those things will help you as far as discipline. Number 4, when it comes to finishing a creative project, what's gonna help you finish is doubters, haters, the acknowledgement of self-doubt and self-sabotage. There is something that I cannot explain about proving someone wrong, about proving doubters wrong, even proving yourself wrong, which in turn proving yourself right, that motivates and inspires you to come up with creative different ways on how to finish a creative project. My best friend, Yusuf Rathor, he said something that, man, that really stuck to me. He said, a lot of times when people, certain people, doubters, haters, undercover haters, when they ask you things like, hey, how's that book going? Or, hey, how's that album going? How's that mixtape going? What they're really saying is, did you fail yet? When he told me that, it just blew my mind, because some people have those tones, and some people, when you say, hey, I'm dropping an album next, whatever, hey, I'm writing this play, or oh, I'm gonna be a supporting actor in a Al Pacino film or something like that, regardless of what it is, some people, when you say that, when you make that known to people, some people are waiting for you to fail. Some people are internally kind of mad because they're not doing anything. So for you to actually break through and do that, you knowing that, for some reason, the more you keep on breaking through and doing that, the more energy, the more creativity, the more resources or ideas will be sparked inside of you to get it done and to finish it. So thanks, Yusuf. Yusuf, bye. Number 5, and I got this from a poetry troupe that I was a part of for about 8 years called Amped Poets. Number 5, when it comes to finishing a creative project, is thinking about your target audience. Now with Amped Poets, we used to get in a room for weeks and weeks and weeks, sometimes even months, to come up with a group poem or a group piece that was anywhere between 5 to sometimes even almost 10 minutes long, worth of straight non-stop material and lyrics. So a lot of times we'd have big whiteboards or chalkboards, and we would go through and we would analyze our demographic, analyze our target market, and the whole purpose of delivering the piece and the poem that we're trying to release and give out. We would think, did we give the audience what they needed right now? Did we show them what we wanted them to see? Did we tell them what we wanted them to hear? Did we get them to do the desired activity that we wanted them to perform? Or did we just straight up give them what they wanted? That keeps things very simple. We also analyzed the cultural climate at the time, the political climate at that time, the spiritual climate at that time, making sure just even what's going on in the industry before we wrote something, thinking about the future and thinking about the right now and thinking about the past, putting that into consideration while writing and getting ready to perform a piece, a group poem. So number 5, make sure that you think about your target audience. Number 6, feedback, suggestions, and editing. This took me about 18 years for my own personal work to get to this area, if you will, to graduate to this level. It shows a lot of humility. It shows maturity. It shows growth as an artist, to allow someone to check out your work, to critique it, to give constructive criticism, to make any type of suggestions. It shows that, hey, look, I have not arrived to a certain level where I don't invite or I don't welcome any type of feedback or any possible suggestions. It's saying that, hey, look, I can be better in certain areas. I can improve on a certain area. It's great to see things from a different perspective, a different point of view. I would personally suggest you humbling yourself and giving your work for possible feedback and possible suggestions to people who are not artists first, people who are in a professional, executive, very kind of black and white realm, someone in the financial industry or someone in like a coding or someone in the medical field, have them look at it. Someone who's completely removed from the creative sphere, have them look at it, get their honest feedback. Get feedback from a stranger, from friends, from mentors, people that you know and trust, people who love you and are not afraid of giving you brutally honest, raw feedback. And then after that, give it to some artists and get some feedback from them. Artists are gonna give you a lot of feedback, but I think if you've never did it before, it's good to get feedback and constructive criticism for people who don't do it. So there's not that comparison, and it's different when your peers, your teammates or rival teams give you advice as opposed to someone who has nothing at stake, or someone who's not a part of this industry to give you feedback. You kind of trust it because you think it's more genuine. And I think the biggest part of feedback, suggestions, and edits, when you're giving this out, it forces you to make hard decisions, real decisions. It forces you to measure when is the end point. It forces you to find your voice, find your calling, find what areas that you want to stick with, find your story, and for you to find your own style as a director or what have you. When someone gives you your suggestions, now you have choices, whether you're gonna go with what they say, go with a mixture of what they say, or just say, you know what, I'm gonna stick with my gut on this one. I respectfully disagree, and I say this is what I need to do, and I don't need to tweak it. But again, this is art. So it's not final. You can always go back, you can add to it later on, you can tweak it, or you can make an alternative version. Like you can make an alternative universe in a comic book series, or in Marvel, what they do all the time, a different animated series. You always see deleted scenes, director's cut, special bonus features, or bonus scenes or so all the time in movies, because those are things that people may have got suggested to keep out of the original project. One major example of this is I did a creative piece, a poem, for a major company, a Fortune 100 company, specifically number 71 on the Fortune 100 list. I did a poem for them, and the department that edits it said, we don't kind of like the image. We want you to kind of change this, because it doesn't fall with policy or whatever. So I said, hey, what specific policy is this violating? Like, can you show me what policy? Oh, well, we have to keep it. Emails back and forth, calls back and forth, conversation after conversation. No one can clearly tell me what laws or what rules that it broke, that it violated. No one could tell me what image that it was tarnishing or tainting. At the end of the day, it was communicated to me as, we don't like it. It's too whatever, fill in the blank for us. And you should probably do it this way. And they gave specific edits. And as I looked at it, I made the decision, and I said, based off of my target market, what I'm trying to do, I have to keep it exactly the way that it is. Now, I had other people look at it, they made suggestions, and I did tweak it based off of that. But what the company told me, how they wanted me to change it, I knew off the bat, off rip, I know my people, I know my audience, and I know for a fact that this is not gonna hit the way that it's gonna hit if I change it up. So I'm not gonna change a word. I trusted my gut, and the response from the poem that I did, amazing. Still going out in internet outer space land now. So again, getting feedback and suggestions, it could have you tweak certain things, it can have you add on extra things, remove things, or it could actually give you the confirmation to go with your gut, stick to what you wrote, and stand by it. And again, this is art, so you can always make a version for this crowd, for this target audience. You can always do an alternative thing, a bonus cut, whatever, prequel, sequel, whatever thing that you want to make up. Again, it's all relative, it's all fun, it's all creative, it's all art at the end of the day. I love you guys. The wrap up, we got spontaneity, we have inspiration or motivation, we have discipline, you got haters, doubters, and self-sabotage. We got focusing on your target market And last but not least, we have feedback, suggestions, and possible edits. You're creative. I'm creative. You're amazing and incredible. I'm just incredible. This is In Session with Just Incredible, hosted by Atlantic Center for the Arts. Final session, summer 2020. We out. By the way, that's Joy, and she's just all-around artist, amazing poet. She is gangster, thug life. All right.